It's often said that civil officials that become more talented with age, while military generals that become more powerful at a young age. This is because civil officials, with age, acquire a deeper knowledge and are naturally the more adept at handling state affairs. The situation is quite different for military generals, whose age often means a loss of their sharpness on the battlefield. However, there is one exceptional general in history who, after his 40s, first commanded troops and achieved remarkable victories. In ancient times, leading an army in battle that was an extremely physically demanding task, as generals were often required to lead the troops, charging into battle and galvanizing their spirit. While history is full of vigorous generals, most of them achieved fame in their youth and were able to command large armies even in old age, drawing on their past prestige. This explains why many civil officials, despite their fervor, struggled to command effectively on the battlefield. However, during the Southern and Northern dynasties, there was a middle-aged scholar who had never commanded a force before the age of 40. However, at the age of 41, he mounted his warhorse and instantly transformed that into a god of war on the battlefield. This legendary figure was Chun Qingji, the personal attendant of Emperor Xiao Yan of the Southern Liang dynasty. A gifted and brilliant man, Chun Qingji quickly surpassed his teacher in chess, becoming a rare local rival. Recognizing his intelligence and exceptional chess skills, someone recommended him to Emperor Xiao Yan of the Southern Liang dynasty as an attendant. Despite his high position as an emperor, Emperor Wu of Liang, Xiao Yan possessed a passion for the arts of music, chess, calligraphy, and painting, particularly Go. After attending to state affairs, he would immerse himself in his games at night, sometimes playing until the early hours of the morning. Initially, everyone was happy to play chess with the emperor, but after a while, it became difficult to maintain. As an emperor, he could play chess all night and still sleep soundly the next day, and no one dared to interfere. The ministers, however, suffered greatly, unable to sleep through the night and facing official duties the next day. Over time, everyone got to know Emperor Wu of Liang well. Whenever he summoned his ministers to play chess, many would find excuses to shirk their duties. Chun Qingji, however, never shied away. As soon as the news reached him from the palace, he would immediately rise, dress, and be ready to play chess with Xiao Yan all night. Chun Qingji was a skilled chess player and with a keen eye for the situation. Whenever Emperor Wu of Liang was about to lose, he would deliberately make a misstep, allowing the emperor to narrowly defeat him. In an ancient era where the average life expectancy was no more than 40, Chun Qingji spent most of his life in this ordinary way. At the age of 41, he accepted a commission from Emperor Wu of Liang. At the time, the governor of Shuzhou the Northern Wei dynasty had been sacked by the emperor for attempted rebellion and had chosen to defect to the Southern Liang to save his own life. Many believed the governor was a traitor himself, and his claim to defect to the Southern Liang was unclear, so no one was willing to take on the task. Seeing no one willing to take on the task, Emperor Wu of Liang appointed Chun Qingji the title of General Wei Wu and entrusted him with the task. Emperor Wu of Liang likely didn't hold much hope at this point, simply sending someone on a whim. If successful, then so be it. If not, at most, he'd lose a retainer. Chun Qingji, a formidable general, could mobilize only a few thousand troops. Despite the perilous and uncertain nature of the mission, Chun Qingji proceeded with composure and successfully completed the reconciliation mission. With the lessons learned from his previous failure, could he avenge his defeat this time? In this clash with the Northern Wei, the forces were evenly matched, giving Chun Qingji room to shine. He led the Southern Liang army in a fierce offensive, not only successfully capturing Shouyang City, but also over 50 surrounding cities, capturing countless enemy prisoners. After this battle, Chun Qingji's reputation soared, infuriating his adversaries. He subsequently led his troops in a fierce battle against the Northern Wei at Woyang. The Northern Wei, advancing by land and sea, numbered as many as 150,000, while the Southern Liang had only tens of thousands. This was another tough battle, pitting the outnumbered against the overwhelmingly large, and many Southern Liang soldiers were apprehensive. As expected, morale among the Southern Liang soldiers plummeted from the outset, some even weeping, predicting a doomed battle. However, Chun Qingji remained unfazed, believing a battlefield like a chess game, where victory or defeat often hinged on a single thought. While the Southern Liang soldiers sought to conserve their strength, Chun Qingji chose the opposite strategy. He decided to launch a surprise attack overnight, seizing the Northern Wei army while it was encamped, catching them unawares. Facing a ferocious counterattack from the Northern Wei, he emulated Han Xian's strategy, continuously shrinking the front, forcing his soldiers into desperate situations, ultimately achieving another glorious victory. Emperor Wu of Liang, Xiao Yan, believed the Northern Wei imperial family was no longer a threat, but rather Erzu Rong's immense power, and allowing him to gain power would be disastrous. Consequently, Emperor Wu allocated 7,000 troops to Chun Qingji, ordering him to escort Yuan Hao north to Luoyang to reclaim the throne. 7,000 troops to revive the Northern Wei. Not only would later scholars find this unbelievable, even the then king of Beihai, Yuan Hao, found it unbelievable. It was a joke. Erzu Rong commanded an army of 300,000 elite soldiers. These 7,000 men were barely enough to fill the gaps. The journey was fraught with danger. They hurriedly held a coronation ceremony that I en nan chung's jiching dut and then marched straight to Suiyang. Suiyang was garrisoned dut with 70,000 Northern Wei troops, guarding 9 cities, all waiting for Chun Qingji to fall. Unexpectedly, Chun Qingji captured 3 cities in a single day, frightening the Wei commander into surrendering.